You're listening to Just a Dude podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's roll. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast. I'm your host, Nathan, just a regular dude breaking down the world's biggest stories with a laid-back vibe. We're diving into the top 10 news stories from May 16th to today, keeping it real and sticking to the facts. No spin, just the headlines that matter. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's roll through this week's news. Kicking things off with a heavy story from San Diego, on May 22nd, a Cessna 550 Citation crashed into military housing neighborhood near Naval Base San Diego, killing at least 3 people, including the co-founder of a music talent agency. The crash happened around 3:45 a.m. near Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport, hitting a massive military housing complex and damaging at least 10 homes. It's a gut punch for the community, with families displaced and first responders working overtime. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria praised the quick response from emergency crews, and Captain Robert Healy, the base's commanding officer, said the Navy is stepping up to help affected families with temporary housing. The plane was a private jet carrying 6 passengers, and investigators are still digging into what caused the crash. Early reports point to possible mechanical issues, but nothing's confirmed yet. This hits hard because it's not just about the lives lost. It's the chaos left behind for military families who call this place home. The talent agency released a statement mourning their loss, and the ripple effects are being felt across San Diego and the music industry. It's a stark reminder of how fragile things can be. For now, the focus is on supporting those affected and getting answers. If you're in the area, officials are asking folks to stay clear of the crash site to let investigators do their thing. We'll keep you posted as more details come in. Stay strong, San Diego. Next, we're turning to Gaza, where a senior Palestinian pediatric doctor spoke out on May 21st about a worsening humanitarian crisis. The situation is dire, with kids dying from hunger and treatable injuries due to ongoing conflict and a critical lack of supplies. The doctor described families grinding lentils to make flatbread because flour is so scarce. It's tough to hear and paints a vivid picture of the struggle on the ground. The United Nations is trying to get aid through, but it's a logistical nightmare. On May 20th, aid trucks were spotted at the Kerem Shalom crossing. But getting supplies to those in need is a challenge. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a new aid plan on May 21st, but reports suggest it's not making a big enough dent yet. Airstrikes in places like Khan Younis and Deir al-Balah are complicating things even further. This crisis is a brutal reminder of the humanitarian costs of conflict. Displaced families are fleeing with whatever they can carry, and the lack of food and medical care is hitting kids the hardest. The international community is feeling the pressure to step up, but political and logistical hurdles are slowing progress. Aid groups are pushing for safe delivery routes, and the world's watching to see if new plans will deliver. If you want to help, investigate reputable charities working in Gaza. We'll keep tracking this story as it unfolds. Over in Washington, D.C., the House of Representatives passed a big tax cut bill on May 22nd. This is a key win for President Donald Trump's agenda. House Speaker Mike Johnson pulled off a tricky balancing act to get a divided Republican Party on board. The bill boosts the state and local tax deductions from $10,000 to $40,000 for those earning under $500,000 a year, with a sliding scale for higher earners. This is not just about taxes. It also tightens rules for health and food programs for low-income folks, which has sparked some heated debate. Some say it could add $3.8 trillion to the U.S. debt, so it's a bold move with big stakes. The bill's now headed to the Senate, where it's likely to face a tougher road. Lawmakers are juggling economic relief with concerns about the deficit. For the average person, this could mean more cash in your pocket if you're in that income bracket. But the changes to assistance programs have some folks worried about the impact. Supporters argue it's a much-needed boost for the economy, while critics are sounding the alarm on long-term costs. The Senate's next steps will be crucial, and we'll see if they can smooth out the wrinkles or if this hits a snag. Keep an eye on this one. It could affect your taxes and more. Next, let's switch to sports, where the NBA playoffs are bringing the heat. As of May 21st, we're deep in the conference finals, and the Oklahoma City Thunder led by MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, are dominating with a big Game 2 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 4 is set for May 26th, with the series potentially running through May 30th. The 2025 NBA Finals kick off June 5th, and the excitement's off the charts. Fans are hyped, debating who's got the edge for the finals. The Thunder's fast-paced game and Gilgeous-Alexander's leadership are making them a favorite, but the Timberwolves are fighting hard. Other matchups across the leagues are just as intense, with every game feeling like a must-watch moment. Off the court, there's news stirring things up. Golden State Warriors guard Moses Moody had surgery on May 21st for a torn thumb ligament, but should be back for training camp. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks are weighing whether to draft Duke's Cooper Flagg or trade for a vet like Kevin Durant, sparking some big what-ifs. If you're a Hoops fan, check ESPN for the latest scores and schedules. The playoffs are delivering, and we'll see who's left standing come June. Let us know who you're rooting for. Hit us up on social medias. We're on all social media platforms. Moving on to entertainment. On the entertainment beat, Netflix is keeping us hooked with a slew of new releases for May of 2025. The Four Seasons, a comedy with Tina Fey, Coleman Domingo, and Steve Carell, dropped on May 14th and is getting buzz for its quirky humor. Forever, a Judy Blume adaptation set in 2018 Los Angeles and directed by Regina King, hit the platform on May 16th. There's also The Royals from Netflix India, a romantic drama that's winning hearts. These shows are a mix of laughs, love, and coming-of-age vibes. The Four Seasons dives into hotel chaos and friendships, while Forever follows two young athletes falling in love, modernizing Blume's classic story. The Royals bring fairy tale romance with a bold twist, and fans are eating it up. Netflix also dropped Big Mouth Season 8 and Fear Street Prom Queen on May 23rd. Perfect timing for a Memorial Day binge. There's something here for everyone. Whether you're into comedies, dramas, or animation, social media is buzzing, especially for Judy Blume fans stoked for Forever. Head to Netflix to check out the full May lineup and hit up Just a Dude Podcast on socials to share what you're watching. We might give your pick a shout-out next week. Back to global news. President Donald Trump shook things up on May 22nd with a Truth Social post calling for a 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st, 2025. He claimed the EU's been tough on U.S. trade, and markets felt the heat, with the Dow dropping 386 points and the S&P 500 falling 1.03% that day. The announcement has analysts warning that a tariff this steep could jack up consumer prices and disrupt supply chains. Supporters say it's a strong move to protect American businesses, but the EU could hit back with tariffs of their own, escalating things quite quickly. Trump's also been talking tough on tariffs for companies like Apple, adding to the tension. This comes at a time when global trade's already on edge, and businesses are bracing for impact. Markets are jittery, and traders are watching for the EU's response. It could be a negotiating tactic for a firm policy push. Either way, it's got everyone's attention. For more on how this might hit your wallet or the economy, check out Bloomberg or Yahoo Finance. We'll keep you posted on this trade drama as it develops. Next, let's dive into a tragic story from across the U.S. On May 16th, a massive storm system unleashed tornadoes and severe weather across Missouri, Kentucky, Virginia, and other states, leaving at least 32 dead and widespread destruction. Kentucky took the hardest hit with 23 deaths, while Missouri reported 7 and Virginia 2. The storms tore through neighborhoods, flattening homes, and leaving thousands without power. In St. Louis, Missouri, an EF3 tornado with winds up to 140 miles per hour ripped through the city on May 16th, collapsing parts of Centennial Christian Church and damaging over 5,000 properties. Mayor Kara Spencer called it one of the worst storms in the city's history. In Kentucky, an EF4 tornado devastated Laurel and Pulaski counties, with winds up to 190 miles per hour, leaving a trail of debris and heartbreak. Virginia saw deaths from trees falling on vehicles during the chaos. The storm exposed vulnerabilities, with reports noting that National Weather Service offices in places like Jackson, Kentucky, were understaffed due to recent cuts at the federal government, raising concerns about warning delays. Cleanup is underway, but the scale of the damage, blocked roads, downed power lines, and destroyed buildings, means recovery will take time. Communities are rallying, with locals like Anthony Broughton in London, Kentucky, digging through debris to salvage what they can. This outbreak is part of a brutal 2025 storm season, with 5 EF4 tornadoes already recorded above the decade's average. The National Weather Service is warning of more severe weather risks stretching from Texas to the mid-Atlantic. For now, affected areas are leaning on first responders and neighbors to rebuild. Check the Weather Channel or USA Today for updates on how to help or stay safe if you're in a storm-prone area. On May 21st, President Trump met with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in the Oval Office, and it was a tense one. Trump shared articles and a video claiming widespread persecution of white South Africans, a narrative that Reuters and the New York Times called false, but others see as quite damaging. Ramaphosa pushed back, but the televised exchange turned heads worldwide. The meeting echoed Trump's past diplomatic flashpoints, like his clash with Ukraine's Zelensky. Critics say Trump's claims lean on misinformation about white genocide in South Africa, while supporters argue he's highlighting real issues. It's reignited debate about race, land reform, and South Africa's complex history. South Africa's land reform policies are a thorny topic, tied to addressing inequality from the apartheid era. Ramaphosa's trying to navigate that without inflaming tensions, but this meeting put a spotlight on the challenge. Both sides are catching heat for how they handled it. This is a messy diplomatic moment, and it's still unfolding. Check out local news sources for the full breakdown. We'll see how this affects U.S.-South African ties moving forward. Next, we're diving into a heartbreaking story out of Washington, D.C., where on May 21, 2025, 2 Israeli embassy staff members, Ron Lizchinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram, were fatally shot outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. The young people, both in their 20s and reportedly on the verge of getting engaged, were leaving a young diplomat's reception, hosted by the American Jewish community, when a gunman opened fire around 9:08 p.m. The suspect, 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez from Chicago, was arrested at the scene and faces federal murder charges. This tragedy has sent shockwaves through the city and beyond, with officials calling it a possible hate crime and an act of terrorism. Lynchinsky, a 30-year-old German Israeli, and Milgram, a 26-year-old American, were described as vibrant and dedicated to peace building. Lizchinsky worked in the embassy's political department, while Milgram, who grew up in Kansas, coordinated community relations and had volunteered with Tech to Peace, a group fostering dialogue between Palestinians and Israelis. The event they attended was about humanitarian aid and unity in the Middle East, making the violence that followed especially jarring. Surveillance footage shows Rodriguez pacing outside the museum before firing 21 rounds, continuing to shoot even as Milgram tried to crawl away. He later shouted, "Free, free Palestine," while in custody according to police, and told officers, "I did it for Palestine, I did it for Gaza." The shooting has sparked widespread condemnation. President Donald Trump called it a horrible act driven by anti-Semitism, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu labeled it a heinous anti-Semitic murder. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and Attorney General Pam Bondi vowed justice, with the FBI investigating it as a targeted attack. The museum, located less than a mile from Capitol Hill, had recently received a security grant due to concerns over its Jewish focus and a new LGBTQ exhibit. The American Jewish Committee, which organized the event, expressed devastation, noting the irony of violence striking a gathering meant to promote peace. This isn't the first time a Jewish institution in D.C. has faced violence. Back in 2009, a shooting at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum left a security guard dead. The community is reeling, with vigils held on May 22nd, where mourners, including lawmakers, left flowers and sang Hebrew songs in memory of Lynchinsky and Milgram. The investigation is ongoing, with authorities looking into Rodriguez's online activity, including a possible pro-Palestinian manifesto. For now, D.C. and the nation are grappling with grief and questioning about rising anti-Semitism. Check NPR or the Washington Post for updates on this developing story. Wrapping up with some hopeful news from the medical world. The American Society of Clinical Oncology, or ASCO, released over 5,000 abstracts for its 2025 annual meeting, set for May 30th to June 3rd in Chicago. The event's a big deal, showcasing major progress in breast cancer, immunotherapy, and other cancer treatments. ASCO 2025 is all about pushing the boundaries of cancer care through science and education. Researchers from around the globe are presenting game-changing work, and the event will also honor new talent with Conquer Cancer grants. It's a moment of optimism for patients and doctors alike. The focus on breast cancer and immunotherapy is especially promising, with potential for less invasive, more effective treatments. It's a reminder of how far we've come and the work still ahead in the fight against cancer. The oncology community is coming together to share knowledge and drive progress. If cancers touch your life, ASCO's website has the latest on this research. It's a bright spot in the news, and we'll keep you updated on any big breakthroughs from the meeting. Well, that's it for this week's Just a Dude in the News episode. From heartbreak in San Diego to hope in cancer research, we've covered the top stories from May 16th to May 23rd, 2025. Thanks for chilling with me, Nathan, as we dug into the headlines. Drop your thoughts or story ideas on Just a Dude Podcast socials or at justadudepodcast1@gmail.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and I'll catch you dudes and dudettes later.